Here at Track and Field, Coach Niels Anderson. Coach, very good week last weekend at UW Stout. 10 top 5 finishes. So you, as a coach, you got to be feeling pretty good about where you are just 2 meets into the season.
Absolutely. With UWL and Stout, I mean, those are some of the top teams in the WIAC and in all of the United States, really. I mean, they've had a strong tradition. So I felt really great about a lot of our performances. To be able to go to these meets and perform in the top 5 is a big deal.
You know, talk a little bit, and we kind of mentioned this last week when we had Brian on, in that you've got some returners who are doing some very good things, and Brian again had a really strong performance in both the long and triple. Yep. But there are some new names now that I think probably earned the right for you to kind of talk them up a little bit today.
Absolutely. Well, last year at this meet, UWL swept 1 through 8 in the 60-meter dash. And they have the returning national champion, and they have a couple All-Americans. And so to get James Davis, who I'm kind of getting to here, to get him into the mix in the 55, or in the 60 in this case, was really a great accomplishment. And he's launched into our top 5. I think he really has all of the capabilities to even maybe become our school record holder in the short sprints. So that was a great finish. And then Becca Dupe in the same event in the 60 was 4th all-time on our list, the first time she ever touched the track, 2nd in that race against some really top-quality people. So those are 2 right away that are of the freshmen. And then there's another name I'll mention, Desmond Stewart, making it to finals in the long jump, ran a great 200, was on that 4x2. That 4x2 was 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores. So that was really exciting too. James being on that 4x2 as well.
You know, and the person that we definitely don't want to forget, and one that's been a consistent for you, Claire Siska, won her event, which is really great to see on her part.
You know, she came down to the sprint side, and I'm certain she's never won a college race. And she was really nervous going in. She was seeded number 1, and sometimes that's the big target on the back of your on the back of your back, and she took it, and I mean, she just owned that race from the very, very get-go. We had a race strategy, and she implemented it really well, which is really fun to see, that she was really fearless in the race. That can be such an intimidating race to go out hard, but if your training is doing what she's been doing in her training, she was able to go out into that race really fearlessly and finish.
Is it hard for somebody like Claire to really kind of not only switch events, but really go from distance to a mid-sprint type of race? Is that hard to do?
Oh, ask her, and she would say absolutely very difficult. I sometimes compare the pain level where, as a distance runner, it's a long amount of pain. How much can you endure? Whereas that 400 is sharp, intense, and as a distance runner, going down, it's something you're not technically used to. Also, just technical running form is very different. So for her to switch over, we really had to break down the way her foot hits the ground. I mean, it really went down to something that technical. And so she's learned that, and she's really now up on the balls of her feet, and she's looking like a sprinter, and she's one of our fastest girls, so it's really fun.
And you're back in action now this weekend at River Falls. It's 3 meets in 3 weekends. Is it normal to just continually compete week after week?
Yeah, we will take a break after this. We're going to go 4 meets on. We're going to have a week off, 4 meets back on, which includes the conference meets. So we do have a break coming in our training schedule. We have a system where we go 3 hard weeks and then a lighter week. And so we're in that midst of that lighter week of training. Hopefully that'll provide some good performances. Certain athletes can go week in and week out, and they want to. They want to keep that rhythm going. And then certain athletes don't. And so a thrower wants to throw every weekend. They're not going to be harmed in their training at all by throwing a lot and getting multiple opportunities. Whereas, and I would also say pole vaulters want to stay in that rhythm. But a distance runner needs more time to recover. Their training schedule dictates an every other week program. So it really depends on the athlete. It depends on where they're at in their training. I may hold certain particular athletes out. But the way the season is planning itself out, we should have a break here with most of our athletes in a couple weeks.
And you've got River Falls Invitational this Saturday in River Falls. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.